Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Don't Praise the Machine. This is the podcast where we usually look at how algorithms are breaking our brains, but today we're looking at how the algorithm is literally reshaping our faces. I'm your host. I go by the name Alexander Negative Canthal Tilt Holland, and I'm currently sitting here in a Berlin winter so bleak and grey that I'm pretty sure the entire city is trying to starve max itself out of existence. Today we're taking a look into the subculture that has crawled out of the deepest, darkest recesses of the mid-2010s niche forums and exploded onto the mainstream TikTok For You page for every adolescent boy with an internet connection. We're talking about looksmaxxing. But listen, this isn't just a trend about washing your face and doing a few push-ups. This is the application of a cold, hard machine logic to the human countenance. It's the dystopian belief that you are not a human being with a soul, but a quantifiable collection of millimeters and bone angles that need to be optimized to increase your sexual market value, or SMV. We're going to find out what a positive canthal tilt is and why the internet thinks you should hate yourself for not having one. We're going to look at why Patrick Bateman from American Psycho has stopped being a satire of hollow consumerism and started being a genuine lifestyle guru for Gen Z. So grab your gua sha tool, start practicing your best Zoolander Sigma face in the mirror, and try not to get mogged by your own reflection while you listen. But I cannot navigate this descent into digital body dysmorphia alone. I need a man whose jawline is currently so sharp that he's not allowed to travel with it on aeroplanes. He is currently the tenured professor of podcasting down there in sunny Melbourne, the man who's allegedly been mewing non-stop for the last 20 years. He is John Junior Boost Maloney. John, are you there? And are you maintaining proper tongue posture, my friend?
Thank you very much, Al. What a fantastic introduction. I have been bone smashing all morning. I've got extremely achy facial features, but I'm hoping that I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'll be chizzed to the max.
I love chizzed to the max. You can absolutely just start adding your own term to the glossary of the looksmaxxing community. John, when I wrote you this week with a topic idea and I said, I reckon we should talk about looksmaxxing, I was very excited because I was trying to come up with a particular episode theme and I wanted something that was a bit internety. What I loved about this is that you hadn't heard of it. So that's what made me think this is the pocket we look for on Don't Praise the Machine, because our audience skews a little bit more millennial than Gen Z, although we love our Gen Z fans who are out there bone smashing their faces as they listen to our episode. But I thought, you said, I don't know what this is. And I was like, this is it. This is the episode for me.
Totally. I had like a very chuggy sense of it. I was like, I think I saw something in The Age about the concerns raised by looksmaxxing, but I had no fucking idea about what it was. And yeah, I everything that you told me about it, which hasn't been much, I've still got a lot to learn, but all of my kind of nascent attempts to come to grips with it have just affirmed what a great topic it is for DPTM, what a strange and exciting world it is, and how much I personally have to learn from the looksmaxxing community.
We have to learn and we have to implement.
So many opportunities to optimize. And I'm sad that I've wasted basically my face's best years not putting any science around it at all.
Man, this is gonna be a fun ride into something extremely internet. And I think the people that have not heard of this are gonna absolutely love it. And if you have heard about it, I think you're gonna love it too, because we're going to make sure that you understand it even better. So what is looksmaxxing, John? Looksmaxxing is a slang term for a practice of trying to maximize one's physical attractiveness through various self-improvement techniques. And it's being used by a growing community, mostly of young men who have the internet in their pocket. And it's describing looksmaxxing is describing leveling up their appearance, or ascending, which is another topic, another term that they will use a lot, the lads in the Looksmaxxing community. Now, Looksmaxxing, the movement is driven primarily by the belief that a man's physical appearance is the primary lever for improving his quality of life. So, I mean, you and me, John, you know, it is taking, you know, self-care, trying to make yourself look, you know, as nice as you can, or some people do that more so than others. Obviously, some, you know, we grew up knowing people would go to the gym, or people would run, or people were more health conscious, and then people were less so. But Looksmaxxing is like a lot of internet things. It's taking that, it's rebranding it, it's giving it a title, it's building communities around it online, forums. And it's breaking it down into a science. It's funny, all the terminology and stuff. Again, we've done episodes on pickup artistry, and it seems to borrow a lot from that kind of thing, where men are speaking to each other using these terms and acronyms, kind of
throwing these acronyms in. And there's a bit of a kind of, you know, it's sort of one of the things I love about just what little I've learned about it so far is the kind of blend of different subcultures. So you've got this kind of vibe of, it's a little bit of wellness, but it's also a bit of kind of neuro-linguistic programming sort of energy, the way people kind of use these weird sort of slightly kooky sounding acronyms. And you've got, you know, just a kind of slightly sort of multi-level marketing, or like salespeople. And again, I guess that ties in with the sort of American psycho thing. It's a sort of unashamed hustling and predatorial, sort of slightly nihilistic vibe. I just love what it presents, not just substantively, but culturally as well. I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of what these young men are up to.
You don't have to deal with this yet because you don't have a son as yet.
No,
but if you had a son, he'd come home really upset, and he'd say, "Oh, Dad, I had the worst day. I got so badly mogged today," and you just have your head in your hands, going, I don't know what these kids are saying these days. So it's apparently linked to incel culture, incel involuntary. I mean, I feel like we have to explain a lot of these to my mum and dad. Incel, involuntary celibate. We haven't done an incel episode.
No. We've kind of probably made a bunch of passing references to incels, but we haven't really focused on incel culture itself.
Incels, men who are involuntarily celibate, and they are angry generally that they are not doing too well with their sexual market value, if you will, that they struggle to attract women or partners, and they kind of go inward and find one another in communities online. So its origins, Looksmaxxing, are from those kinds of communities.
Right.
And it then became men online who started to discuss, okay, how can we make ourselves look better so that we can succeed more in the world? And then, you know, again, very kind of pick up artistry that became very analytical, and they started looking and comparing photographs of both like other men in society, celebrities, models who were very attractive, and then they dissected things about their physical appearance that gave them that higher sexual market value. What is it about a man's face that makes women more attracted to him, that makes people more attracted to him, because they believe that this is really how you have a more successful life. And if you you know, you and me, before you maybe had paid any attention to Looksmaxxing, you would think, well, the only really, I mean, how much can you do to the face that God gave you? And so perhaps now...
Not much in our time. We were pretty defeatist about it compared to the Looksmaxxers. I was I might shave. That's about all I can do is grow hair or remove hair.
We were more like, those are the cards that I was dealt, axes.
Exactly.
Maxes.
Yeah. Resignation maxing.
Res Max. So maybe we can we'll get into like some of the terms and like what you can do. This is this is what young lads on the internet are doing and what they're kind of sharing with other men. This is what you can do to get your face, particularly your face. Some of it gets to your body, but Looksmaxxing is more about what a man can do to improve his face. So the first thing is we got low stakes. We're talking soft maxing.
Maxing. Right. So there's a kind of spectrum, isn't there, between, entry level stuff that you might want to do, and then things that if you're really signing up to be a looks maxer, you want to kind of push the envelope. You want to get as maxed as you can. You might do a bit more hard maxing. But so what's in the soft maxing camp?
Yeah, okay. So soft maxing, low stakes, we're talking about common non-invasive grooming and lifestyle habits. So it might be seen as like standard self-care, but in the Looksmaxxing community, they approach it with a more analytical and scientific approach, scientific focus. So we're talking skincare, so following a strict routine to achieve I think what they call glass skin, I have read. Yeah. Then fitness, we're talking about focusing on specific muscle groups to get an aesthetic physique. That's a bit more body than face. Grooming, getting specific haircut or doing things to your eyebrows.
Right.
And then we did a whole episode, I think, on mewing and jaw size.
Yeah, that's right.
So mewing and is a popular technique where you press your tongue against the roof of your mouth and hold it there. There was a doctor, I think his name was like Dr. Mew, and he said that if you press your tongue against the roof of your mouth real hard, a lot of the time that it would give you a more sort of masculine jaw. A lot of the, like in the Looksmaxxing community, a lot of the lads, they share before and after photos and they show side by sides where they have like a weak chin that goes back on their profile.
Right.
And they start jaw-sizing and mewing, and they build their masseter up.
Looking like powdered toast man from Ren and Stimpy.
Exactly. They toast max to get that.
Toast max. Yeah.
To get that look. Now we're going into the fun stuff. Now we're talking about hard maxing, higher stakes. So these are more extreme, permanent or invasive measures to change one's appearance. So these are things like cosmetic surgery, and there's like loads of them. I can even share a video later. I went through a bunch of YouTube channels from Looksmaxxing Influencers, and there's a tier list of they love a tier list in the Looksmaxxing community, which I loved. So I saw a tier list of Looksmaxxing Influencers. I saw a tier list of Looksmaxxing cosmetic procedures. A guy just going, yeah, this one's like pretty low stakes. It's not too expensive, so you're not gonna like it. It doesn't. The failure rate's not too bad. So I'm gonna give that a B tier. And
yeah, that's true. All the ones I've looked at, it's very kind of, not I mean, I want to say listicle, but it's very kind of categorical. It's like, I'm going to sort these things into, A, B, and C tier, and you can, I guess it's that thing, that kind of impulse, particularly maybe a masculine impulse.
Totally masculine impulse.
Yeah, to confront an area of uncertainty by just breaking it down and saying, well, this all gives me the heebies and it seems a bit woolly. So if I just break it down into its component parts, like with, the pickup artists, if you go, I don't want to just be standing there feeling butterflies in my stomach because I like a girl. I want to fuck that off and instead be like, okay, now I'm doing my POI, and now I'm adding my gambit and just kind of being able to follow a script and a rigid kind of process, which I suppose is comforting to people in situations of uncertainty.
Yeah, both the pickup artistry thing and the Looksmaxxing thing. I just can't imagine a world where groups of girls are breaking things down in such analytical ways and coming up with a scoring system. That's the other thing that's important to say about Looksmaxxing is that there's like rating systems that they've come up with where men will post pictures of themselves of their own free will and say, hey, give me my Looksmax score. Now there are a bunch of apps
We should definitely put our faces in and just get
I'm
savaged
terrified.
by the Looksmax community. 0.
Just two men, two 43-year-old men who
Exactly.
I
put guys, I had a shave and put sunscreen on. What about now?
I love just the idea that you have like a family and a daughter and a partner and a job, but you're spending all fucking day and night on Looksmaxxing forums with just teenage boys. Just teenage boys telling you how rubbish you are and that you're gonna.
It's like trying to up my score by fractions of a point.
But yeah, so then so hard maxing is when you take more extreme measures, permanent invasive. So we're talking cosmetic surgery, jaw implants are a big one.
Right.
Rhinoplasty, getting the old schnoz, getting the nose adjusted, and then even limb lengthening surgeries I've heard. Then we're talking steroids. That's another hard max to build muscle quickly. And then this one, some people claim that this is a joke and other people claim no. Even if it is a joke, it's become so prevalent as a topic of discussion in the Looksmaxxing community that young lads are actually doing it. And this is the one that gets all the media attention, which is bone smashing. But there is some dispute as to whether or not anyone is actually doing this. And it's just a little in-joke in the Looksmaxxing community for normies like us to latch onto.
Yeah.
But some extreme subcultures discuss bone smashing, which is hitting facial bones to create microfractures in the hopes that they heal thicker, which medical professionals strongly advise against due to the risk of permanent disfigurement. I think that's pretty. I don't think you need that warning. I think that's pretty obvious. But you'll see like people post videos of themselves on TikTok, whether they're doing it for a joke or not, with a hammer, and they're just gently tapping their cheek with the hammer.
Sort of like how you might. I mean, you kind of grow muscle, don't you, by micro tearing your muscle fibers, and then they develop in response. And I guess the theory is, well, maybe bone is somewhat different, which in a sense it probably is, but you may have unintended consequences. Just end up with kind of permanently rounded cheeks in a way that's not particularly Looksmaxxed.
Again, I'm just loving Jacinta coming home and opening the bathroom door, and you're just stood in front of the mirror, just tapping your cheeks with a hammer, and she goes, "You need to feed Innes," and you're just like, "That's another 5 minutes." I got absolutely savaged on the forums today by the kids.
Just very bruised all the time coming into work. Yeah, I had this experience of hip surgery when I was a kid, and I remember being in a ward with these other kids who had the bone lengthening operation because they were born with one leg shorter than the other. And I don't know if they still do this, but they were doing it they were kind of breaking the bone and then gradually stretching it essentially to equalize the leg lengths. And it just seemed incredibly painful and unpleasant. And the idea that people would do that electively is astonishing to me, that like you'd be like, well, now I'm 5'8", and I've just spent a year in hospital, but my sexual market value is through the roof. Because I'm a little bit taller. I mean, look, maybe the proof's in the pudding. Maybe there are people out there who've done that and thought my life's never been better. But it's astonishingly hard max, I have to say.
all those kids are now running Australia, John.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think the profession that I'm in is a very tall profession.
You were in a bed next to Peter Dutton, and then look at him now.
Yeah, that's right. little Petey.
Little Petey, you called him, and he just
groaning, and I said, "One day it'll be worth it."
I'm just in here, just lengthening my legs. I'd like to leave this country one day.
A children's ward, just an adult Peter Dutton, young adult Peter Dutton. My sexual market value is really taking a hitting its premium.
So terms, John, again, this is getting very PUA, very pickup artist community. IDPs, interpupillary distance, the gap between the eyes. We've talked about how much I love a wide-eyed lady. Apparently that's called an IPD. Again, I think maybe a surgery can perhaps like pull them a bit more slight. And also a lot of the Looksmax lads post videos of them doing gentle makeup to, you know, do a little bit of trickery to make it in the same way that women use, you know, contouring and things to make it, contouring makeup to actually use makeup to change the way that the light hits your face to make it look like, oh, actually this bit's a bit higher than this bit, or to take attention away. Maybe you have a bit of a hollow eye, you got a bit of dark circle, add a little bit of foundation, and then that smooths it out. And the one that we actually yeah, I'd be open to that as well. The one that we discuss quite a lot outside of the Looksmaxxing community, which we've talked about for a few years because it's just come up in our daily conversations, is the canthal tilt, which is the angle of the eyes.
I'm sure that comes up in a lot of people's daily conversations. Yeah.
And the canthal tilt is basically if everybody out there wants to assess their own canthal tilt, you have the outside corner of the eye and the inside corner of the eye. And what you want as a man in particular, but I think women as well, it makes them look a bit sexier, is you want the outside corner of your eye to be slightly above the inside corner of your eye. So they're kind of, your eyes are very slightly tilting down. And that's also with, I think, with a strong brow and a thick eyebrow and a positive, I think that's a positive canthal tilt.
That's a positive canthal tilt. Yeah, because there is this thing where some people will say
that's called
negative
hunter eyes, John.
Hunter eyes. Sorry.
Let me just check. I want to make sure I get this right.
I saw that on the, I think it might have been on the Looksmaxxing Wikipedia or some basic article I read about Looksmaxxing, and they showed you a comparison between someone with sort of, you know, effete, hideous eyes that wouldn't attract anyone, and then someone with hunter eyes, which looked sort of like a Arctic wolf, sort of predatorial and determined.
So I'm talking about the preferable one. Sorry, is the positive canthal tilt, and the positive canthal tilt is the outer corner of your eye is higher than the inner corner. So you've got and they call it hunter eyes because when you again, this is so funny because this is a thing that we would recognize in a male face, and we just wouldn't understand we wouldn't even understand that the eyes were the things that were doing this. But you and I might see a man and go, oh, he looks like a model. He looks quite handsome. And what is often happening is he has the canthal tilt where his eyes do that thing where they go down slightly, and they call it hunter eyes, because it looks like a very focused masculine hunter who's focused on his prey. And then, of course, the worst thing you can have is the negative canthal tilt, or rather, in the Looksmaxxing community, this is what they would say is undesirable. There's actually other scientific and studies that have been done that have said that a negative canthal tilt, which is where the outside corner of your eye is a bit lower than the inside corner. So this is Hugh Grant. So people say it gives you that kind of...
This is an interesting tension because I always thought a negative canthal tilt was a desirable quality. But according to Looksmaxxers, they'd say that makes you a beta cuck.
Well, I guess you wouldn't say that Hugh Grant ever played alpha male characters. He's kind of handsome. He's handsome in a kind of soft... way, you know, he's not like a kind of, he doesn't have hunter. We should what about me?
You've got let's see, I think you've got a little bit
of if you can't see me,
I think you've got a positive canthal tilt there. I think the inside's a little bit lower, but what am I looking like? Hang on,
I'm about to give you a score. You I think maybe you have negative as well. I think actually, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
But I was looking at, I was asking you about because I said, you know, what's that thing that we've talked about You said, yeah, the cantle tilt. $1 for every time I've had to explain it to you. Because I was listening to a podcast about JFK, and him and all the other Kennedy brothers had a kind of negative cantle tilt.
That's right.
And it's kind
so
of
everybody, if you want to know what it looks like, think of those Kennedys. That's the negative cantle.
Yeah, but it gives you a slightly kind of mournful look, which I think is sort of compelling in a way that's maybe makes you attractive, but also not attractive in a kind of this guy's gonna go out and kill an animal for me and provide for me and make all of my decisions for me kind of way, which is probably what Looksmaxx is. That's their kind of attractiveness, is a very sort of paleo alpha attractiveness.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So another term we have, John. So we have the canthal tilt, and then the other one that I want to talk about, which I've heard a lot, again in Gen Z lingo, and I had no idea what it was, but it's the term mogging. Yeah. And mogging is when somebody looks significantly more attractive than someone else in a way that dominates them visually. E.g., he is mogging, that handsome man is mogging everyone in that photo. So it's kind of like outshine, I guess.
Yeah.
So you would, and when I was watching these YouTube videos, a lot of the lads actually use this language in a non-ironic way, which I was like, this is just tremendous. I was watching, like, these lads are just using all the Gen Z slang.
As though it's
they're
just
saying things
language.
Like, so, yeah, which of course for them it is. There was a guy was doing a tier list of Looksmaxxing influencers and saying this guy's the best, this guy's the worst, and he said, yeah, this guy was one of the original Looksmaxxers. I was watching him 10 years ago when I was 14, so he's older now, so he definitely has unk status.
I saw that too. Unk status. Yeah. Man, imagine that. A poor boy just beginning his puberty and he's sucked into the world of Looksmaxxing. That's what you want to see.
I'm just gonna mog so many weak betas this weekend. I'm just gonna.
I mean, you got to just pick your photo companions and mog everyone in the photo.
Yeah. I got to check everybody's. I've got to, before I go out, I've got to work out who's going to be at the dinner party, and then I've got to run their face. Apparently ChatGPT will do this for you, because ChatGPT knows, like the LLMs know, they know they've scraped all the forums with the boys and discuss the scoring system, and so you can just put your face into ChatGPT and say, can you give me a Looksmaxxing score? And then it will do it. And then you can say, can you please
ruin my weekend, I think.
Can you please tell me how I can improve my score?
Hard maxes only, please. I just want.
Hard maxes only.
I don't want to change my lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want implants and drugs.
Starve maxing, starve maxing is a harder term, but one of the ways that you can obviously change your face is just by having a lower body fat.
Yep.
Like if I starved myself for a while, or if I just lost 10 kilos, you would see it in my face.
Yeah.
I'd have slightly more defined bones.
Yeah, your cheekbones pop a bit better.
Yeah, I've always had a slightly kind of, like my family, the Holland, we have a kind of we have a slightly flattened face. We don't have, like, me and my father do not have the highest, most piercing jawbone. So I would have to starve max myself, and then I could also get just fucking cheek implants, or I could smash my bones. You could just push my cheeks up,
doink your cheeks against the fence for a few weeks, and you'd be there.
Cricket bat, just cricket bat to the face.
And is there one thing that I heard that guy who was mentioning the unk status talk about, is thumb pulling, and I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. That sounds made up. I
couldn't work that out either. So what they do is they open their mouths and they put their thumbs on the roof of their mouth, and I think they pull forward or out, and it's meant to change your palate. But I
Wow.
don't understand. How that then manifests itself in your actual face that people see. It seems like a very internal thing, but yeah, we can do it. We can do an entire episode on face pulling.
The techniques. I mean, you might go with surgery, you might go with thumb pulling, you might go with mewing.
Buccal fat removal,
Right.
jaw implants, infra-orbital implants to fix hollow or tired-looking eyes. So some of the lads that have access to a bit of money, they go and they get these surgeries and they discuss the surgeries online. They discuss the price, they discuss the success rate, they discuss the risks, the possible complications. And I think, John, this is a great time to sort of talk about some of the personalities and figures.
Please.
The icons, the heroes, because there are now Looksmaxxing influencers out there. Really interesting thing that I had explained to me when I was doing my research for this was how Patrick Bateman, played by Christian Bale in the film American Psycho, is it Brayson Ellis book, I think, is the author of that famous novel about 1980s corporate greed and
psychopathy,
empty culture and psychopathy. I mean, I've seen over the years how the Bateman memes are just everywhere.
Yeah.
Like he's kind of used to communicate this sort of kind of introspective, quiet, intense man who, and so I also, through my research, apparently he is, a lot of the Looksmaxxing community look to him not for the psychopathy. They remove that from the equation.
Okay.
They say this is a guy, the character himself, he's in control.
Yeah.
He takes care of himself. There's that scene where he has the ice pack on his eyes and he's doing crunches. And he's like cold and calculated, exactly like a Looksmaxxing scorer would be.
Yeah.
And he became he's defined a new type of male that was neither alpha nor beta, but was sigma.
Okay.
And the idea is that alpha males are, although people might see them as like at the top of the hierarchy, they can often be sort of, they're typically kind of louder, more sort of dominating presence.
Yeah.
And the idea is that the sigma he's not a beta. He's not like just, getting walked over.
Yeah.
But he's a bit sort of more introspective, a bit quieter.
Yeah.
And they, I think, say that he exists outside of the hierarchy and he's just focused on himself.
Okay.
And so that
Running
was the
his own
birth
race.
exactly, he's running his own race. So that's the sigma male. And so
I never knew that. There you go.
Yeah. So now when you hear sigma, sigma boy. When you hear sigma male, that's the sigma male.
Okay.
And you'll see the Looksmaxxing community refer to Bateman quite a lot because he's got his pouty face and he's a very handsome man and he's just taking care of shit and he's just laser focused and he's quiet in the background.
Getting his kind of obsessively embossed business cards done.
That's right.
Yeah, that's interesting because I mean, obviously there's an element of it where, and you can see this when you see some of these characters, that they are, I guess, sort of compensating for something. They've got a lack of confidence. They maybe have been picked on. Maybe they weren't that attractive and they're trying to sort of game their way out of that. And
again, so pickup artists.
Totally.
So pickup artist parallel.
Yeah, exactly. And they're kind of, that idea of being a sigma is kind of like somebody, changing the goalposts to sort of suit their own ends. Like,
That's
I'm
right.
not going to be an alpha because, I don't really have the confidence or self-assurance for that because I hate myself and my body. But I will be a sigma and just kind of quietly punish my body. And in that way, I'll achieve my own kind of success. But it's, and it's also about, I think what appeals to them surely is this kind of eschewal of any sort of vulnerability or softness or kind of being too feely. They don't like that. Obviously, they want to see the world in sort of social Darwinist kind of mechanistic terms.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, that's right. One of the things that came across my timeline, my For You page over the Christmas period, involved one of the I feel like culturally outside of Looksmaxxing, this is a guy who is the most famous, and this is a guy who's known online as Clavicular or Brandon Peters is his real name. And what came across my For You page over Christmas was famous Looksmaxxing controversial streamer apparently runs over person with Cybertruck whilst live streaming. And I just thought, this is a very DPTM headline.
Yeah. What a great way to enter 2026.
And so Clavicular I'll bring up a video with him in a sec. Okay. He's a very funny fellow. He is very handsome.
Yeah.
And his claim is that, a lot of that has to do with Looksmaxxing. Okay. He hard maxes. And I've seen him in interviews say he has no interest in longevity. He's just trying to max out his looks. I think he's done jaw surgery. Okay. I think he's done a bit of, I don't know what other surgeries he's had, but he's just all in. I don't know if he has access to money before he became famous or if he's made his money from becoming an influencer. Because, Cybertrucks, I don't think of that cheap.
No.
And he streams.
Running over people tends to cost you a bit of money as well.
Yeah, you need a little bit of dosh if you're going to start running over people.
Yeah.
But yeah, so his content is focused on facial harmony, bone structure, and the black pill philosophy. The black pill philosophy being the idea that physical attractiveness is the primary factor in life success.
Yeah, okay.
Apparently he became a major flashpoint for criticism in 2025 after a live stream where he allegedly performed a DIY cosmetic injection on his 17-year-old girlfriend. Oh. This guy's there's a darkness to Clav that I love so dear. He's
17. How old's he, by the way? Is he?
He's kind of, I think he's 20. This says 20.
Okay.
Years
so
old.
Very young, right?
And I'm going to just show you this. I was just looking up a couple of Clav videos. He also streams on Kick, which I have to add to the list actually of. I'm just going to add that now. Kick, the streaming platform Kick, which I've alluded to a few times. It is the dark bastard baby of Twitch, which is all the shit that's too nutty and empty and
for Twitch
nihilistic for Twitch ends up on Kick.
Yeah, okay.
And so Clav is a Kick IRL. He's like an IRL streamer. I've seen him play a few video games, but he often does the iShow speed thing where he gets a crew to follow him around various cities in the United States, and then he'll turn up at other streaming influencers' houses and they'll just chat. But let me play a little bit of Clav because I love him so dear. This is him talking about makeup and whether or not you should use makeup as a man in the Looksmaxxing community. So this is what Clav says about makeup. You can see that, John?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, this is what Clav says.
Now, the next thing that I want to go over is how to use makeup as a male and how to Looksmax with it, right? So makeup is one of the best Looksmaxes out there if you know how to use it, right? So makeup is obviously a huge phalo for normies and all the societal implications, rather. Oh, dude, that's gay, this, that, and the other thing. It's like, yeah, you're gay if you're walking into a bar with a face full of makeup. But if we could subtly improve upon ourselves and just give ourselves a little bit more of a sharpened look, then I see no reason why we shouldn't do that, right? If you know what you're doing, you're not going to get caught. No one's going to fucking know. So explain to me how that's gay. If something you get more girls,
yeah,
gay? I don't fucking think so.
Fucking love Clav. What a guy. I don't know what a phalo is, but that's another term that he said. That's phalo.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a bit of a kind of I mean, it's sort of like what there is in sort of gym junkie cultures of old, where there's a combination of kind of deep homoeroticism where they're all rating each other and bigging each other up and saying, oh, this guy's so attractive, but also sort of aggressively heterosexual and sort of, that's gay. I mean, he seems at pains to tell me that it's not gay to the point where I think he's worried that it is.
Yeah, I think you actually hit the nail on the head there. It is, I mean, it is strange for it to be so straight, but it's obviously so obsessed with the looks of other men. I mean, they're much more obsessed with the looks of. They would give a lot more thought to the looks of other men than I would, for example, or you would. Now, another thing, John, that's popped up, of course, is how are we gonna make money as Looksmaxx influencers?
Yeah.
If, online, because we've talked about this on the podcast a lot. How do you monetize various forms of attention on the internet? And there are a ton of Looksmaxxing influencers on TikTok, on YouTube, and they all want to be making that bag from the young lad dollar is a young lad, the young lad insecurity dollar. Don't just, gone are the days of just thinking that it was just ladies who you could make feel insecure about their looks and then sell them a product to solve
that social
that
progress
problem.
Isn't it? Now we can all get in on the
social progress.
Monetizing body dysmorphia game.
That's right. So, of course, easy fix for a bit of money is the community. You say, hey, you can join my community on School, which is like a online community platform.
Okay.
It's $12 a month, and there's a whole bunch of lads in there, and we're all sharing tips on how to look max and how we can out mog all the other lads at the party. But of course, the one I love so dear is snake oil supplements, and boy, are they selling supplements. And so I want to show you another man whose name will come up if you're looking into Looksmaxxing. That's Syrian Psycho. And Syrian Psycho, he's a big influencer in the space, and I love this. This is a good video too, because Syrian Psycho's talking about Clav, and he's talking about his ascension, which is, he's rising up because he's getting more and more beautiful. And so this is Syrian Psycho. And he's got a product that you're really gonna want to need. John, I've actually got this for your next birthday. I'll be sending you this.
Given Clav's new color rating and his undeniable ascension, I figured it's only right if we work on something for the rest of us. Winter is right around the corner and everyone's starting to look a little bit too pale. And so I thought, what if we made something that helps you preserve that warmth color without needing, UV damage or staining our faces with self-tanner? Yeah, I'm officially working on a new formula. I'm calling it U-Glow. Yes, I came up with all the naming, I know. We started with powders like D-Bloat, and then we moved on to capsules with D-Clear. So now I'm thinking it's time for gummies. These are going to be all natural, low calorie gummies that actually taste good. I'm thinking of ingredients like beta carotene, lycopene, astaxanthin, vitamin E maybe, compounds that have been clinically shown to support, of course, healthy skin, but also your tone, giving you that warmth, that glowy color. Of course, it's not going to make you tan instantly, but over time, it'll help you maintain that glow, that orange hue from beta carotene.
This is what I need.
Yeah.
I need this. I need the beta carotene.
I
need
juice on my face.
When Mum says, Alexander, what do you want for Christmas? I say, Mum, can you buy me a couple of tubs of Syrian Psycho's U-Glow? I need that beta carotene glow throughout the winter so I can mog the shit out of these pasty fucks.
Interesting. And I've seen a few casual references to this. They give me the sense that there's a slightly sort of straight edgy vibe to it as well, that they don't like, because makes sense, right? They don't like anything that's going to cause your skin to look worse, so they don't really like getting on the sauce. They probably don't
Not
like
at all.
drugs that are going to age you or make you look haggard or whatever. But then there's also this sort of slightly kind of there's like a wellness component to it and a bit of a sort of paleo component too, where I'm sure they're kind of interested in not putting anything unnatural into their bodies unless it's for hard maxing purposes. they're happy to. They wouldn't have a smoke, but they're happy to put a chin implant.
That's right. That's very true. Man, I'm looking up here at some of my links. I've got the ultimate Looksmaxxing surgery tier list, where a guy goes through all the surgeries that you can get. I have some stuff on. Yeah, go on.
So people are making money from giving people tips and kind of mentoring and community, but also
In the community,
yeah, and also
supplements seems to be the big thing.
And then
Yeah.
I guess there'd be strips. People always love to make money from strips that you put across the bridge of your nose. I've noticed that's just big on the internet.
Oh yeah,
everything's solved by
so
a
there is a
strip.
guy. By some sort of adhesive tape. There is a guy who sells. He does sell tape that you put on your face. That you put on your face. I think during the day and when you sleep, and it pulls at your face. And there's his claim is that the more you wear it, that it will like more permanently structure your face. It's just complete fucking nonsense. But and then all of his videos, he's of course wearing the tape when he's talking to you, just doing his live stream. I have another. Here's like another. This is another Syrian Psycho product because I'm getting the whole suite of Syrian Psycho.
Yeah,
Syrian Psycho supplements. This is the one for you, John.
Here's exactly what's inside my D-bloat formula I'm releasing tomorrow.
It's like a Tim and Eric sketch.
It's exactly like Tim and Eric. Yeah.
Label right here and start with vitamin C. Most people think vitamin C is just for immunity when it's actually great for flushing out water retention and calming inflammation. Basically helps you look and feel less puffy. Then we have magnesium bisglycinate, which isn't just any
D-bloat. I could use a bit of D. I reckon I fucking just need a cocktail of Syrian Psycho caps.
Give it a go.
D-bloat, orange myself up.
I'm going to put out a rival product called Rebloat. Just puffs, yeah. Into a Sigma.
It's filled with the world's strongest
bloating agents.
The strongest inflammatory ingredients available to humanity.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, guys, this is just like putting a hornet's nest right on your face. It's going to be great. I had a couple of ideas because I thought,
yes,
this might be something that we could offer as part of the DPTM Patreon package. Would be a bit of a kind of Looksmaxxing angle, or just generally kind of how do we want to as a team contribute some of the to some of the development of ideas in the Looksmaxxing community. So I had two ideas off the top of my head. One is called chiz festing, where you basically, instead of worrying about hard maxing or soft maxing, you just act as though you have the chiseled features that you want. And, then it's basically a portmanteau of chiseled and manifesting. So you manifest chiseled face and you think to yourself, how would I feel if I had the chisels of my dreams? And then you just move through the world believing that you already have the chisels of your dreams, and then they'll come your way kind of in the way that they do with The Secret. Or, maybe you'll just project an idea, or you project a sense of having chiseled features even though they're actually as or no more chiseled than they were to begin with. The other one is called affirmations, which is kind of similar idea, that you in the morning you get up and you just tell yourself in the mirror how good your tongue posture is and how good you're going to mew that day and how it's going to improve your look and your chiseling, and it just helps you stay motivated and stay in a kind of positive relationship with yourself. Affirmations and chiz festing. So
affirmations and chiz festing now available in John's school community. That's right. Where I love the idea that you just have a Looksmaxxing community and then just on live stream you just like eating Chinese food and smoking cigarettes.
Exactly.
just watching just gaming all day. I mean, what the thing about this, it's funny. I wonder as a young lad how susceptible I would have been to this. I guess a lot more so than I would be now. But what life has taught me, if anything, is that as a man in particular, you do really have the advantage of being able to rely more on your personality and your character than women can, unfortunately, in order you can improve the way that you carry yourself in the world and the way that you interact with women. And in fact, if you'd ask me, I would say this is far, far, far more important than looks.
Yeah.
I know some very handsome men who are just not particularly confident in themselves, and women just don't vibe with them.
Yeah.
And I would recommend that you'd be much better off developing yourself and having a kind of cool, interesting life. Like this is just like, to me, this is just like really a lot of wasted time and energy. Of course, everybody wants to work on themselves a little bit, and if you want to have a little bit of hard maxing surgery, because then that's fine. That's
put a bit
great.
of foundation on. That's okay.
Yeah, but there seems to be nothing in this community about one's character, which I just find really fascinating and kind of nihilistic.
Yeah.
That you would go on these forums and everybody. I mean, maybe they would argue, "Oh yeah, but I'm on like other forums about my personality. Like this is just one side." Of me. But I mean, people are just, making this about their whole lives. And lots of young lads are on TikTok and they feel like, oh, I'm not getting where I want to be. I'm not the popular kid at school. And then there'd be an internet video that says, well, that's because you're not eating enough Uglo. It's because you're coming to school all pasty. It's because you're not hitting yourself in the face with a hammer and eating Uglo all day that you're not. No girls want to kiss you.
Exactly. It's because the inside of your eye is higher than the outside of your eye.
So no kisses.
Yeah. It's a bit like when people used to say, if your hand is bigger than your face, you got cancer, and then they'd punch you in your hand when you put it up to your face. But it's true. It's also like, even if you were being sort of cynical, deeply cynical and kind of and calculated about it, how do I make myself, how do I kind of get with the most attractive person? But I wonder if that's even what they're like. Are they actually? I suppose it is, because they're talking about, sexual market value and whatever. But I mean, the proof's in the pudding, isn't it? Like, you could be clavicular or whoever, but like, you've either got a cool, hot partner or you don't. And I don't know that these guys necessarily would. But I think what I was going to say, even if you were being kind of cold and calculated about it, I just think it's incorrect. Like, if you see, I mean, you could just as easily say, look, if you go out and, make an insane amount of money, then you'll probably find somebody hot who's just kind of interested in being with someone who can provide for them. And that's just as effective, and probably in some ways, has more side benefits than putting bits of plastic in your face so that you look like a cartoon lifeguard.
Yeah, definitely. Like status
exactly.
for men is much more valuable to the opposite sex, and like looks are a part of it for sure. Yeah. But I mean, maybe it's also like a bit of a younger man kind of thing, because younger men cannot easily acquire status. It takes time. It takes time and effort, particularly time. Yeah. Like, you need time to get kind of wealthy and, drive the Lambo or whatever, whereas you can probably Looksmax yourself into oblivion. A few months. You could start into oblivion. I mean, they talk about this. It's not just about sexual market value. It's not just about getting with women. It's also about what they call, they talk about the halo effect, which is, the social perception. So they're just generally in the world.
Yeah.
That the halo effect is a cognitive bias where people assume that if someone is physically attractive, they also possess other positive traits like intelligence, kindness, and honesty. So it's, there's been scientific studies that show that is the case, that we make positive assumptions based on people's physical appearance to a certain extent. And then, of course, the other one is just the beauty premium when it comes to career and money. There's a lot talked about that more physically attractive people, they might get the job, but it's also a little bit, sometimes, I don't know, you feel like maybe it's a little bit of a chicken and egg thing. Maybe some people just are confident because they are good looking, and then they get those opportunities.
Yeah.
I say, young boys, focus on inside maxing.
Yeah, that's right. Heart maxing. Yeah.
Well, John, that's
Lovely
been
message.
the episode. That's been the episode about Looksmaxxing, and I feel like our audience are going to come away from that going, I didn't know any of that, and now I'm going to understand what the boys are talking about when, there's going to be a lot of dads out there that are now going to understand when their young sons are talking about mogging, when they're talking about ascension, when they are saying, Dad, you're just way too unk to understand my ascension, and that I'm absolutely mogging you at chopped and unk. I'm absolutely mogging you at the Christmas lunch with the family.
Exactly. One further thought just before we close. I think if I can give a piece of advice to the Looksmaxxing community, you're focusing a lot on the face and to an extent the torso.
Yeah.
But I'd love to see a Looksmaxxing community based around sort of maximizing the beauty of, I don't know, the penis and balls, perhaps, some techniques.
Cockmax.
Some cockmaxing techniques, or just the hands and feet, just peds and mans. So to me, I think you've got to expand to, at least if you can't get around Al's point and look at what's inside, and I can understand why that's a confronting prospect, then at least focus on other parts of the body and take a more holistic approach to maxing.
Beautiful. Thanks for that advice, John. And everybody out there, just apply whatever level of Looksmaxxing is appropriate for you and your family. Everybody, as we always say, if you've enjoyed the podcast, please share it with a friend or a loved one or a family member right now. If you use, whatever platform that friend, maybe you're listening to us on Spotify, but that they listen on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah.
Please find the Apple Podcasts link or the YouTube link, or look, to be honest, you could even just share it with them on whatever platform you have. The little share icon. Tell them, hey, I think you could really use a little bit of Looksmaxxing to get that score up, and we'll give you the 3 seconds of sharing now. We'll give them a little bit longer. We'll make it 10 seconds of sharing. Thank you so much, everybody. And we can't wait to see you next week.
The podcast.